Hey everyone, welcome today to another installment of The Way It Is. I am your host, Luca and Ben with Remax Service First Realty here, and I've got my audio engineer extraordinaire and podcast recorder, Ben Myers, with me. My steadfast, I won't call him a sidekick, but my steadfast behind the scenes that makes everything happen that is podcasting for me, and he's going to help me out today. We're gonna go back to do those that remember the Letterman show and his top 10 list, because we're recording today on 28th July, and it's almost the end of July, which is hard to believe. Crazy. And we know that I've noticed certainly a bit of a shift in the marketplace, and I think it speaks to what's happening in the world, where everybody is vaccinated or double vaccinated, or a majority of them are. I know I'm double vaxxed, and Ben is too. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And so now we're, as the ad used to say, we're free to move around the country, or move around the city or the province and start doing things that we've been prevented from doing for the last 18 to 19 months. So I think people's priorities are shifting. And you know, they obviously want to get outside and enjoy a summer. So with that being said, we went to the visitkingston.ca website, and we're going to do their top 25 things to do in Kingston in August. Figuring that if those that aren't brave enough to board a plane yet or take long drives, we've got lots to do in and around our community and our area,
100%.
right?
100%.
So let's kick it off. So number one, and still going strong, even though I thought this was supposed to be like a temporary measure till they figured out what to do with this place. Kingston Penitentiary tours are still going strong. People are still booking them.
It's making too much money, you know. They gotta,
well, I think that's it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, sooner or later they'll figure they'll be able to build their own condominium complex there with the money they're making. But have you been on one, Ben?
yeah. So like one of the big things is that they're owned by the St. Lawrence Parks Commission. So a little backstory. Well, you've also been a guard, but I was a guard recently up until a little while back at Fort Henry. So because of that, you know, it's very intertwined. So I've been on there before. A lot of the people that worked at Fort Henry have also worked at the Kingston Pen.
Yep.
My girlfriend actually worked there, so she was the one who gave us our tour.
Right.
It's highly recommended. You don't understand the full scale of the place until you're inside.
Absolutely. And a very dear friend of mine, I'll give him a shout out, David St. Ange, who's the curator of the Penitentiary Museum, actually across the street. I think that might even be on the list here. You know, you don't know the history of this place and what happened inside the walls till you get in there. And truly, you know, I've been on it. It was a while ago, but there was certainly some enlightening parts of it. No question about it. So that's, sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, but like you're 100% right. And this is probably the best time to go, if any, because I feel like a lot of Kingstonians haven't had a chance to go because it was so booked up when it first initially came out.
Well, and I think it's also a classic Kingston thing where until I started working there, I didn't even know where Fort Henry was or what it was about either. So I think when it's in your backyard, you're probably the last person to do it. And that's probably why we're doing this too, right? Because people want to start, I think, exploring what's in their backyard now instead of having to risk traveling elsewhere unless they have to, right?
100%.
So,
yeah.
All right. Why don't you do number two?
Number two, the Kingston Thousand Islands Cruises. I've been on one of these. Have you?
Yeah, I've been on different ones over the years. Yeah, I mean, you can't lose, right? I mean, they're what a great way to spend 3 hours or whatever and stuff, right? So cruising down the St. Lawrence River, the Bateau Channel, taking in some cocktails and some appies and having, and you know, it's good when you go with either. You know, you can go by yourself, you can go as a couple, you can go with a group of friends. I think we're so blessed in this part of the world to have, you know, the Thousand Islands and to have these waterways literally in our backyard.
People from and around Kingston need to get out on the water and just kind of see, because honestly, from the waterfront, you don't get an idea of just how many islands and how many kind of cool pieces of little, physical landmarks you see out there. Obviously, we've gotten a different perspective because we
were
flew over them.
3,000 feet up looking at them. I know. You just reminded me of that. And, Will was pointing out all those little castles or buildings that we would never have known
defunct mansions and stuff. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
100% recommend it. You get like lots of nice music and stuff. One of my uncles actually, joke about being in Kingston is like everyone is somehow related or connected to everything in Kingston.
Yeah.
So one of my uncles, Mike Myers, he plays.
I know your uncle.
Yeah. So he's out there. He's playing the 1,000 on the Island Queen there. Yeah. All
Good.
Right. Take it away.
Number 3, enjoy the Love Kingston Marketplace. Well, yeah, Springer Market Square. Well, I mean that everybody that comes to Kingston always talks about going to the market, and they're always. And I don't know the schedule of the market, but I want to say it's Thursdays to Saturdays, or I could be wrong. I don't know. Go to the site for sure. But, hey, where else can you go downtown, walk around Market Square, walk around the downtown, get some fresh produce? A lot of it, I'm going to say, is local. I know. Yeah, not all of it, but I know quite a bit of it. Now they're trying to bring in more, at least within, the area type of things. So
no, it's definitely an awesome kind of place to go. Like the whole idea of shopping local. It's a really easy thing to do when you're downtown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we got the Haunted Walk of Kingston. Funnily enough, this is the one thing that I haven't done, even though they're associated with Tourism Kingston. They're not associated with the St. Lawrence Parks Commission. But, obviously they come to Fort Henry. They do the ghost walking tours there. I've heard time and time again the different ghost stories of Kingston, both at the Pen and Fort Henry.
Yeah, I've been on it, and it's very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's some of the stories are pretty cool.
You get some creepy vibes in Kingston.
Absolutely.
We're an old limestone city, so it's definitely one to check out.
Well, and even at 120 some odd years old, or however old we are now, and something like that. It's old enough that there's some weird stories back from the late 1800s.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
No,
so
that's definitely where it's a really exciting time to be on.
All right, number 5. Well, we just talked about this before we came on, and talks about enjoying a Kingston patio.
Enjoy a patio. One of my things is like I work as a barista on my off time, and one of the things that before we fully reopened again, just an easy conversation starter is what are you looking forward to most, And I swear to God, 80% of people were like patios. It's just, I feel like we all just kind of took patios for granted, and then the second they were gone, people were went into withdrawal.
Yeah, no, I get it. And again, here we are. I think I might have mentioned it before sometime, but I thought the stat was that Kingston has more restaurants, quote unquote, than per capita than any municipality in the country or in North America. I want to say something stupid like that, or silly like that. Shouldn't be the word stupid. But because of that, we're fortunate in the downtown area. We have a lot of great establishments that have fantastic patios. I mean, Brock Street, their line, King Street, their line, Ontario Street, their line. So take your pick. And then now, which the good thing is, if you're not a downtowner and you don't want to go all the way downtown, especially if you want to enjoy a bottle of wine or 2 or 3, there's some nice spots out in the West End now. Days on French doing their food truck, and has an eating area out there, and a lot of the areas out there. The Spearhead Brewery has a great patio that you can. Rax has a patio. So anyway, if it's a patio you want, there's lots of them to find, and depending on time of day, I guess. And now the one I want to try, because I've said that, is the cool one now that Aquaterra did down along where the boat slips are, just in behind the Delta Hotel.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. I want to try that because it looked really neat from the photos. And stuff,
I feel like they started it around the start of the pandemic, but yeah, you're right. It looks like kind of a nice little vibe.
Absolutely.
Especially because originally their whole selling point was the interior waterfront view from inside the Delta itself.
Yeah. And then for people that are my age and demographic, for those that remember growing up at not at Dollar Bills, but at oh my God, Whiskers across the street. That's now the Confederation Place Hotel. Those that remember. Now they have a really sharp patio called Wharf and Feather. I think that's in that building, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah. No, we've seen kind of even before the pandemic, we've seen kind of like this big kind of shift towards more like different culinary options in Kingston. It's great. It seriously is really nice. The West or yeah, like the West End is getting more developed now too.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, back when it was just basically industrial parks and
Yeah.
the mall.
Yeah, no. There's a lot of options. So,
Yeah.
and the weather's been great. So take
Yeah.
advantage of a patio. So, number 6, Kingston, iconic Kingston trolley tour, and I guess now they've added. I didn't know this.
The ghost tour.
and mystery trolley tour.
Yeah. I didn't know about this one, but you know, the trolleys are a great kind of like easy ride around Kingston. You get to see a whole lot. Yeah. I kind of want to say that it's a much more ideal one for people that are outside of Kingston, but at the same time, if you're local and you haven't done it yet, it's not a bad idea.
Well, and you know, if people are having family finally come in back to visit or something like that, and you're waiting for something to do, that you know, what a great way to spend. I don't know how long there. It can't be more than an hour, would it, or an hour and a half, maybe?
Yeah,
or something.
and I mean the tour guides on the trolleys too. I know a couple of them because they're all ex-guard, and like they drive us down in the Fort Henry Guard whenever we did like stuff in
Yeah.
Springer Square.
Yeah.
And they're all great guys. They know their stuff really well. Like they can tell you. Like they would tell us stuff, you know, I was working there for 6 years and they'd tell us stories or like history facts that like we didn't even know, you know? So it was impressive. It was good.
Yeah, no. All right.
The escape room experience. This has been getting really popular probably about, what, I want to say 4 years ago.
At least, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Haven't done one yet.
I've done one.
You have
Yeah.
done. How'd it go?
We did one as an office, I think, because we did sort of like a office building or team building thing and stuff. And it was pretty cool. That was back when you could do it inside. It was the escape room down on Bagot Street, which I think is the one they're talking about here. So it was interesting. I mean, you really have to, you know, it definitely you need some analytical and cognitive abilities, and you have to work if you're going as a group, you really got to work together. And sometimes you did it, they split your group and you did one against the other in terms of one went first, and then it was like who could get out of the escape room faster. But I mean, it was, you know, it's like anything. You should try it once for sure. Absolutely. You know, and now I see they're doing indoor and outdoor, obviously, because, you know, because of COVID and coming out of COVID and numbers. But
yeah, I wonder whether they're doing the outdoor ones. But yeah, they've set up ones in like a bunch of different places. It's cool.
Okay, so number 8, Pump House Museum Tours. And I'm going to be the Kingstonian that's embarrassed to say that I've never been inside the pump house.
I have once. My girlfriend and I brought her little sister to there just to kind of check it out. I think in general, it's a great place to just take your kids for like a little day trip.
Yeah.
There's like a lot of like kind of fun little activities for them to do. There's like a scavenger hunt that they can do. There's some cool stuff to take a look at as an adult. You know, you can look at the history of stuff, and like I'm a big museum guy. You know, I worked at one basically for that many years. But yeah, there's just a lot of kind of cool little things to do there, especially for the kids. I think that's, you know, a lot of these options here are going to be for like the whole family. This is definitely one of them.
Okay, well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
The farm. Oh, so number 9 is farmers markets, which we kind of just touched on.
Well,
already.
but you know what? I get the one that we should mention too, though, that doesn't probably get enough street cred is the one by the Memorial Center. That's every weekend.
Oh
It's
God,
on
yeah.
Sundays, right? So that's a farmer's market that's there every Sunday, and you know what? Everybody raves about it. The vendors there are fantastic. I've heard. I've been there a couple of times, and you know, I sponsor the Love and Spoonful, the night market, and they usually have it in August. They've had it annually, of course. Obviously, it was canceled because of COVID. The last. Whenever they were supposed to have it. So I'm not sure what the plan is. That well, they've done it virtually now, and there was a passbook you could buy online and support the vendors that would have been at the market. So you know what? There's Springer Market Square, of course, goes without saying, but the farmers market there at the Memorial Center, definitely. And I think it's on Sundays, every Sunday. I'm not sure about rain or shine, but definitely worth checking out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, we've been missing out on a couple of Kingston staples recently. Like, you remember the fairs that we usually would have?
Oh yeah. And they used to have them. They moved it because it really. I remember going there as a kid, and it was like a whole event, like for 2 weeks or something like that.
Oh, it was a highlight when I was a kid.
Oh yeah.
That was great.
It was yeah. And now they have it in late September, I want to say, or something like that. And they
yeah. Well, things change.
Absolutely.
Go for a hike. That's a really easy one to do around here. You know, I'm a huge avid hiker. You know, just one of my decompression things is getting out into the wilderness and just doing some wildlife photography. So there's some great places. The K&P Trail, if you want to just be an absolute sociopath and hike all the way up to Ottawa, you can do that. That's a thing you can do.
Right.
Lemoyne's Point's an easy one. It's free. It's easily accessible. You see a ton of wildlife.
Yeah, gets a little busy.
It does get a little busy. You kind of got to know when to go.
Right.
Early mornings, late evenings are the ideal kind of spots. But there are some other ones. Little Cataraqui Creek Conservation. It doesn't get as much attention.
Yeah. I've been in there walking. Yeah. That's actually a decent one.
You can do 10K. There's actually like essentially a route you can do. Like you can. The nice part about it is like you can kind of pick your own distance to cover. Like there's one like it's like 2 or so kilometers. So just for the kids, you go through the Chickadee Trail. There's ones that go around like the actual like ponds and lakes and stuff, or ponds there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it all kind of depends on like your travel case.
Yeah, and then the big one that gets mentioned now, because I've been asked to go several times. I'm not a hiker. I mean, I'll walk a trail or whatever, but I Rocked Under, apparently, however far away that is.
Yeah.
Some people are going to that quite frequently.
Rocked Under is really popular just because of that one big kind of like oversight.
Right.
Funnily enough, I haven't been to that one yet. My big one is I come from a family that's like super kind of outdoorsy, kind of like getting out into the thick of it. Frontenac Provincial Park is another one, just out past Sydenham.
Yep.
Highly recommend it. You can do some really cool stuff. Actually, Sydenham in general, there's a lot of like kind of like smaller hiking trails out that way.
Yeah.
And there's actually like, you know, this isn't on the list, but there's something called like glamping, which is really popular now. These like tiny cabins. There's one that's out in Sydenham, Penner Cabin.
Yeah, you sent me the link on that one. That was pretty cool.
So my girlfriend and I stayed there, and it was fantastic. Like we had such a great time. You know, we made a fire, and just like there's a lake directly below us. We went canoeing. So it was so cool, and like we had a shower. We had a working shower while we were camping. That's a nice thing.
That's what you want, because my idea of camping is a 5-star hotel. But anyway, that's there are those that like to pitch a tent. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
But, okay, number 11, Bistro on Ontario Street. Let's open this up and see what they actually say, because my bad. We should have.
That just goes to the Love Kingston Mark.
Oh, I know what they're saying. So Bistro on Ontario, that's I think those are the bistro tables that they have in Market Square, and then you can avail yourself of a coffee across the way to some of those vendors, and then have a little coffee or a little tete-a-tete there in Market Square and stuff. So
okay, nice.
Okay, number 12.
Wharf and Feather Drag Brunch. So you mentioned the Wharf and Feather. It's been picking up steam. That's kind of cute. Honestly, like, you know, it's nice to see some more kind of LGBT focused events here in Kingston. It's been something that I think overall we've been lacking for a little bit of time. It's not even to say that Kingston is a heavily conservative city. I know. But like at the same time, it's nice to see some more representation. I've been out to a drag show or two when I was in Ottawa, and they're fun. I mean, it's a nice time. It's great to see stuff like that coming to Kingston.
Well, that's number 12 on the list, folks. That's August 22nd. So,
and then we jumped to number 16.
16.
What?
Museum of Healthcare Guided Outdoor Walking Tour. Well, okay. I think that that speaks for itself. So those that are interested in healthcare and the history of it, or the Museum of Healthcare, and I don't mean to be facetious when I say this, but I didn't even know there was a Museum of Healthcare. So obviously there is. And
yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's in Queens or around Queens.
I'm guessing that's got to be maybe even. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Kingston is just as much of anything, you know, it's a prison city. It's also a healthcare city.
Absolutely. We're probably the healthcare star of the region, right?
Yeah,
I mean, in terms of service. And
you probably ask anyone, and they have at least one family member in like healthcare. You know, my mom's an RN, has been so for 30 plus years. So yeah, it's you know, we're a healthcare city.
absolutely. No.
So number 17, visit the Agnes Etherington Art Center. A lot of cool artwork inside of there.
Lovely facility, just a lovely facility.
Yeah.
So number 15, they've got Kingston Penitentiary Filmed in Kingston tour. So I'm going to guess this refers to some of the times that they've had movie sets here, films happening in and around Kingston Penitentiary.
I mean, Kingston's been a pretty big popular place recently for a lot of new upcoming films and stuff. Like we had a couple places here and there. You know, things have been filmed here.
Well, they just had the Murdoch Mysteries.
Murdoch Mysteries has filmed twice here. I remember one of the DC like comic book. I think one of them was filmed at the prison for a little bit. Yeah, just for like a prison sequence or something.
Yeah.
I remember when I was still working at Fort Henry, Fall Out Boy, like the band, came and recorded one of their music videos at Fort Henry.
Get out of here.
Yeah, so it's called.
I didn't know that.
It's Centuries. The song is Centuries.
Yeah,
if you take a look at the
that's their number one. That's the one everybody knows that they sing.
So if you take a look at the music video, it's set in like a coliseum, but you can very clearly tell it's still Fort Henry. Like,
the lower fort. Huh?
Yeah, so like they transformed it. They did a bunch of stuff. It was really surreal. Like when we were doing some marching practice, and you got someone dressed as the Pope, you know, videotaping the Fort Henry Guard because they were still in costume too, right?
Wow,
it was funny.
Neato. All right, 15. That was 15. So 16.
Okay, it's a little bit. Yeah.
All right. So book a sip and stay package with County Sips Wine Adventure. So yeah. So
Prince Edward County.
Prince Edward County, dude. You can't. I mean,
it's a given.
It's a given, right? You got to go on a wine tour. Book. There's lots of now that obviously the restrictions are lifting. Definitely. I mean, you can go certainly on your own. You can cycle it. I know people that cycle a wine tour. There's different wine tours. I've been on some of the wineries. They're fantastic. The big one, Norman Hardy has that outdoor pizza oven, which is like spectacular.
Who's getting on a bicycle after a wine tour?
Well, so, you know, again, pick how you want to do it. I'm just saying, probably best if you're going to indulge yourself for the entire tour, have someone drive you is all I'm going to say, or go with a group of friends and book a van or one of the tour vans.
Yes, they do have the tour van. I did that once, and it was fantastic. I went with like a work party. It was like when I was working at Chris James, and like it was fantastic.
Absolutely, it is great, and you get they treat you really well. You find out about some great local wines, and we're again just really fortunate that basically less than an hour west of here, you get all of this. You know, it's spectacular.
Be prepared. You're going to come home with crates. Yeah,
you're going to do some shopping. So bring the credit card for sure. So,
17 live music. That's yeah.
I mean, it's fantastic. We have so many talented local artists, artisans, artists, everything here in Kingston, you know, and some it's pretty subdued in terms of, you know, if it's just a solo artist with their instrument or whatever. Sometimes you get trios, I know being involved with the symphony, there's some of the orchestra members that have trios or quartets that'll play at certain events and things like that. So yeah, I mean,
there's a bit of a genre for everyone, you know, like I remember just growing up in Kingston and seeing a lot of my musician friends just kind of find their places in Kingston as like, you know, established artists. You know, it's great to see, you know, there's some really talented people out there.
Super talented. Well, your uncle being one of them. I remember when he used to play, and Sandy Singer is the former director of the Kingston Food Bank when we had Dan Irwin on. He was in that very popular band. Oh my God! Now I just had it in my head, and now I just had a brain fart and forgot. But what what were they? Oh, it'll come to me later on in the show. But yeah, I mean, lots of talented. So now that we probably can have live music again, and Confederation Basin usually had some kind of live music playing right behind or in front of the fountain and stuff like that on weekdays or lunches and stuff like that.
Like 100% go out, support these guys. You know, they've definitely had a bit of a tough time when it came to the pandemic.
100%.
When you're a gigging musician, like it's a completely different ballgame compared to versus, you know, your post-production like I was.
Yeah.
So, you know, like shout out to people like Nolan Hubbard, Julia Finnegan, Michael McKittrick. These are all super talented musicians here in Kingston. Highly recommend taking a look.
So Nolan Hubbard is the son of a longtime dear friend of mine, James Hubbard, that we worked at the Fort together. And
there you go. Yeah. I went to high school with him. And
did you go to? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There's the village of Kingston rearing
I
its
know.
head again.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, just 50% is just went to Regi. All right.
18.
Frontenac County Schools Museum.
414 Regent Street. Okay. Didn't even know this existed, but hey, again, why not? Right?
Again, you could live in Kingston your entire life, and there's some things that you're going to find, you know?
Well, and this is why we're doing this, because now you got to, you know, people don't know enough about what's going on in their backyard, right? So there you go. So Frontenac County Schools Museum. There you go. Number 18.
All right, 19, the night market.
Night market. So I guess, again, they're having a market, but at night. But
So that's what it is.
Yeah, so Captain Obvious. There you go. So August 20th from 5 to 9 p.m. There you go. So take advantage of the night market, and then go take advantage of the patio before and after the night market. So that was number 19. So number 20, when we were scrolling through, I didn't know who this chap was.
Arthur Milnes.
Arthur Milnes Walking Tour. And so I'm just going to go in here because for those that don't know, it gives a bit of a bio about Arthur Milnes, however you want to pronounce it, and forgive me if he actually listens to this, and let's hope he does. But so he's known as the downtown walking tour leader. He's a Kingston storyteller in chief, and he's one of the most unique Kingstonians you'll meet while in town. Arthur and his wife hosted an American president and his first lady for an overnight at their Kingston home. He served as a speechwriter to the Prime Minister of Canada and was memoirs assistant to another PM. Arthur even bonded with rock star Bono of U2 while attending Nelson Mandela's funeral in South Africa in 2013. So this fellow certainly seems to be well-read, well-traveled, and well-connected. So I've never done this, and I'm going to say that I'm going to probably put that on my list.
Yeah, that's definitely one to take a look at for sure. You know, again, like there's these people here in Kingston you wouldn't even know, living here for decades, and there's some cool stuff to do.
Absolutely.
21, we're looking at the architectural tour of Kingston Penitentiary. Honestly, I think it is actually kind of fascinating if you do talk about like the architecture of Kingston, limestone city. A lot of this brick and stuff was pulled in from like outside. It was outsourced. So, you know, bit by bit, Kingston was built up over time. And
yeah, no. I mean, and those that are obviously have a penchant for architectural design or you know, and that era of architecture, then yeah, for sure. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you avail yourself of that? All right. So 22, TET presents outdoor summer pop-ups. So TET Center. Wonderful facility.
Yeah.
You know, lots of activities there, events. So this is every Saturday. They got 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. I'm guessing that's 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Obviously a typo on the website, but it's right on the shores of Lake Ontario. Great, fantastic location. Right beside the Isabel Bader Center there. So yeah, take advantage, get on the site, see what events might appeal to you. And for sure, just another great venue and opportunity that we have as Kingstonians in Kingston. It's
100%. Yeah, no, like, God, I remember when like they were starting to build those two buildings. Well, I mean, they were kind of repurposed from older buildings, right?
That's right.
And they definitely did a great job. They're two really cool, you know, pieces of architecture sitting out in the
absolutely.
in between world.
Yeah.
Skeleton Park Arts Festival next door 2021.
Wow. So Skeleton Park, I mean, this is McBurney Park up in the north end, and literally the park was a cemetery.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about this one of the previous podcasts, because I remember talking about it. And I remember back when I first started in real estate, you couldn't give away a house near Skeleton Park, and it was sort of,
There was a bit of superstition around it, eh?
Well, and now fast forward, and it's a very gentrified area, and now people like streets like Balaclava, Alma, clergy runs perpendicular to it, but the one that runs parallel, oh God, I want to say Bay maybe. Anyway, it's uber gentrified now.
Yeah.
People are paying eye teeth for someone to live, depending on what street and what you've got there and stuff. So Skeleton Park, they have a very vibrant community there, and obviously they've got an arts festival. So definitely worth checking out. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
go take a look at local art.
Yeah. So 24 Bicycle
Valet.
Bicycle Valet Kingston.
What? Okay.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You know what? Don't know much about that, but now I know the one thing they started with in Kingston, which I'm not sure if they're still around, but they used to start because they were big in the GTA or in Toronto, downtown Toronto, where you would have the bike stations, right?
Oh, the rentals,
the rentals. So you put your quarter in, you could drive around, then leave it back at a station, and then somebody else picked it up or something. So I'm not sure what that.
I want to say it's been defunct for a little bit.
That's what. Yeah,
I haven't seen the bikes recently, but you're right. It was picking up steam before the pandemic.
Yeah.
You would see them out and about. When I lived in Ottawa, it was popular. When I lived in Toronto, it was popular. So it might come back. Yeah.
All right. And drum roll, number 25.
Kingston Beach.
Kingston Beach. Enjoy Kingston Beach. And we're fortunate now, with obviously Breakwater Park, or Downey Breakwater Park, that lovely facility. I mean, if you're driving down King Street, you're probably like everybody rubbernecking and looking at all the students availing themselves of the sun and the playing their beach volleyballs and doing whatever else and stuff like that. But there's also Richardson's Wharf there. There's Lake Ontario Park that has a beach. There's and again, if you want to go into Prince Edward County, there's the Sandbank. So we actually, and we're
Wolf Island as well.
Wolf Island, Sandy Bay, Big Sandy Bay. I mean, it's fantastic beach. So we've got, if you look for them, and there's some more secluded spots too. There's little hidden gems out there and stuff for those that want to do some research and some more out of the way private spaces as opposed to being.
Yeah, for people who aren't fully aware of like the geography of Kingston and the area, like you just kind of have to head north a bit, and you hit cottage country super fast, and there's a ton of independent smaller lakes that you can go take a look at. You can set out on a canoe or hang out on like the smaller beaches.
Lots of public boat launches, lots of places to launch a canoe, a kayak. And again, it just speaks to the fact that one of the reasons why we've had this influx and migration of people leaving during the pandemic, leaving the GTA and leaving other centers, is we really are so fortunate that we're in an area that, within a 30-minute drive, you're literally in God's country, 40, like we said, an hour west, you're in wine country. I mean, there's just so many wonderful Thousand Islands. There's just so many wonderful. We're really just in the heart of a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff,
Yeah.
So, and the only thing, I guess, to wrap up, and I want to thank you, Ben, for helping me do the top 25 list today.
Of course.
But given that we alluded to the fact that we're both Fort Henry guards, it didn't make the list. So Kingston, Canada, get your act together, because that's got to be at least 1A or B after the Kingston Penitentiary. But
you know what? It will. I'll give them this. They couldn't do sunset ceremonies right now, so it'll probably be on the list for next year.
But you know what? A guided tour of Fort Henry is not a bad thing either.
It's not a bad thing. We've both had to give them
lots of them. Yeah,
it's a fun time. When you get a good tour group, it's an enjoyable time.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, folks, thank you for listening in. Thank you for indulging. And I hope if you are hanging around Kingston in August, go to visitkingston.ca. You got a top 25 list. Let's hope that you maybe make some of these happen in August, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Take care, guys.
Bye.